Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com. I'm hoping we can get through half an hour today. I fixed a bunch of stuff. Keep our fingers crossed. Okay, all right. So welcome, everybody. Hope everybody has had a great trading week. Let me just update you on a few things here in terms of, positioning. We actually have been very active lately. We actually put on a TQQQ long position going into this close here. We are also, hey Ryan, hey, I saw you come on board, so let's see if we can hook up next week. Okay, I want to kind of cover some things with you. Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, also, did you get any text messages from us today? We put on the TQQQ. We bought UNG. By the way, we bought UNG at 1748. Okay, good. Yeah, we bought UNG at 1748. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so we bought UNG at 1748. We're closing that. We closed right around 1783. So so far so good. Keep our fingers crossed. Yep. Yeah, Ryan. Well, that's why we're gonna need to get together with that. Okay. All right. So let's review very quickly. So we obviously we had a big strong rally. And this is really, I've been talking about this with our members, is that despite the 30-year getting just whacked, as you know, I mean the TLT traded all the way down to 93. I've been talking about 100. Man, we eclipsed that by a long shot. But it does look like we're getting to that point. We are coming into some monthly accumulation levels on a lot of these interest rate products. And one thing that's notable, and in fact, we're looking for a trade at TTS on the 2-year. I don't know if you saw that big reversal in the 2-year. If you pull up I don't know what the symbol is on TradeStation, but if you pull up the 2-year, you can see that we had a really nice pop on the 2-year, a nice reversal. We need to get above 102.11, and that would confirm, the upside move. So we're watching that very carefully. Hey, how you doing, Steve? So that's a trade setting up for next week. Now, next week we have the big four: Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Apple reporting. We also have a bunch of central bank activity and some inflation numbers. So next week's going to be great. We are poised to, we've already, I put the TQQQ on, poised to, again, we're coming out of the worst seasonal patterns, as we talked about. I think we're poised for a breakout, a really nice rally coming up. Also, sentiment. I did a class for my members this week talking about sentiment, and it's really, I've been talking to you guys about this. I've been writing in the newsletter how everybody's still super bearish, and you can see what's happening to the market. So when everybody's telling you that the market's going to crash and the market's going to go down and whatever, take the other side of the trade. You're much better doing that, right? There's a bunch of that going on around right now, as you can see. And I've been talking about this. It's not easy to do, but that's how you do this. So a couple things, a little promo here. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, if you want to have 5 days free with me, and I'm also running a promotional membership right now. If you want some details on that, go ahead and click the link below. It's a great promotion. So if you guys are interested in that, I already had a really nice response to that. So if you guys are interested in a rate cut, let's call it a deep discounted rate on my membership that allows you to get all the picks and so on and so forth, check it out. Okay, I'm sure a bunch of you guys already got some of that. So And then also I have a class coming up next week on Thursday. We're going to be talking about looking for emotion on the charts. So all that, let me get all that out of the way. I got a bunch of stuff going on. So if you guys are interested in any of that, again, I got all the links below, or contact my support staff and we'll get you set up for whatever you want. Okay. All right. So let's start with the S&P very quickly. And, after all of the movement today, and really, if you look at your chart, if everybody should be having your charts up, right? Hey, JT, nice to see you. Pull up your S&P chart, and really, one of the things I really focus a lot with my members is kind of peeling the lens back, if you will, taking that 30,000 foot view, and really, instead of getting bogged down with all the nonsense out on Twitter and all, gosh, man. There's just so much garbage out there. I have to tell you, man. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. Yep. Yeah, the market's going to crash. Get short. Blah, 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 blah. Right? I can't help myself. Sorry, guys and gals. Anyways. Let me keep my composure. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, buying low and selling high. Where do you want to short it? You want to short it up around 3,700, 38. Actually, we have a short setup much higher. But here's what I'm talking about, right? Look, what is the chart? Okay, look at the S&P. Isn't the S&P basically, I mean, it's gone nowhere. It swang from 37.75 down to 36.50, and now we're right back up again. Isn't that right? Right, everybody? Yep. But my point is, what happens if you shorted? How many of you guys got caught short this morning? Right? That's what I'm talking about, right? In fact, we had a really nice level, 36.45 on the S&P, a nice accumulation level. Yeah. So that's my point, everybody. Is and by the way, what happens if we break out 37.40? So let me run this scenario. This is a scenario I foresee, and again, I could be totally wrong. That's okay. Look at the 2-year. What if the 2-year? Hey, Gallo. What if the 2-year just? What if rates on the 2-year just peaked? We're coming into a strong seasonal pattern. All the earnings, for the most part, on the big important stocks that count, banks, they all blow out next. What if they just all blow out the earnings next week? Because everybody was expecting a lot of bad earnings. That's not coming to fruition. I mean, there's the what's that stock that just got bludgeoned today? What is it? That social media stock, Snap. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Snap. Yep. And that's garbage anyways, right? So anyways, but how did JP Morgan do? How did Procter and Gamble? How did Netflix do? And so and on and on and on. You get the idea? So and what's happened too is a lot of the guidance has come down. And so that's why they're beating expectations, because a lot of the guidance has been ratcheted down. And so that sets up for, that's how Wall Street operates, right? If you think about it, all the analysts ratchet down their expectations, get everybody spooked. And then any company comes out and beats expectation, because how does the market operate, right? Most institutions, do they want to buy companies or sell companies? What do you think? You get the idea? So anyways, but here's the deal. 37.75, if we can break above that, I think we're heading right back up to 3,900. I do suspect we're probably going to do that. One of the things also that I've been talking with members about is Notice the, we had the lows from the CPI, right? That was 3,500. The subsequent low was what, 35,890. And what is this low? So you tell me, any technician out there, what is that starting to suggest to you when every pullback finds buyers at a higher level? What does that suggest to everyone here? If you're looking at your charts, if you're just a random technician, you guys, your higher highs and higher lows and all that kind of stuff. What is that telling you right now? Just based on the chart, no opinion, no bias. What do you think? Yep. Coupled with possibly rates peaking on the short end, yield curve flattening, and what are seasonally, I basically told you guys to be very cautious going into October. Yes, if you go back and look at the recordings when I started doing these. What is November and December, everybody? What kind of seasonality do we have going into November? Is that bullish or bearish for stocks going into November, December timeframe? What do you think? This year played out pretty good. Played out the script on the September, right? We had a terrible September. Bear killer October coming in. So just saying, right? Anyways, where are we playing? So we got long TQQQ. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures. Everybody with me? I know I got a delay on the chat, but I'd like to get some of you guys participating in here. Okay. Now the NASDAQ is going to run into, and in fact, we've got a short sitting here, very, very small risk, even though we are long. I'm longer term TQQQ. My TQQQ calls are out for, much longer term. This could be a short term pullback area around the 11,600. You got to look at your charts on the NASDAQ. And one of the things that also I've been talking to my members is, looking under the surface. How have some of these semiconductor stocks been doing over the last? There's some pockets of strength underneath the surface of the market. It's not like back in September when everything was going down. Look at energy, still XLE. Remember we talked about that XLE. Look at XLE. Look at the banks. The banks are starting to act better, and so on and so forth. So. Again, looking under the surface, there are some positives coming in. The one wild card still, I would tell you, is what? Interest rates, right? That's been kind of the drag, the albatross around the neck of the market. But the fact that this week the market hung in there, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell all hung in there despite or in spite of, bonds still getting trashed, is also something, listening to the message of the markets. I tell you guys, right? Don't think about your opinions or whatever. The message of the market, what does that suggest to you? So very interesting. So that's really on the NASDAQ. Still largely range trading. I think the big level on the NASDAQ, if you really want to think about, something more than just another bear market rally, or whatever you want to call it, we really need to get above 11,800. Right? Everybody see that? 11,800 is going to be really the if we can launch beyond that, then we got room all the way up to like 13K, which I do anticipate we're probably going to get that kind of rally towards the end of the year. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Okay. All right. So that's the NASDAQ. Russell, we know that it's been the stronger market too. By the way, I keep talking about the 1660. Can't even break the June lows on the Russell. 1785 on the Russell, also going to be very, very important. Check it out on your charts. I am going to look to get long IWM. I think I told you guys this last time I was with you. I do believe that small caps will lead because of their. Remember, they're all small regional banks. They don't have the FX and so on and so forth. So That's it for the equity markets. The bonds, I'm focused more on the shorter term. I think the TLT, I'm going to be looking at TLT next week. TLT is in a monthly accumulation. Check out your chart of TLT, which is what I'm primarily trading. We're coming into some really critical areas right around that 93 to 94. All you got to do is pull up your chart, look at your monthly time frame. We haven't been down here since 2008. That is super extended. It's at 3 sigma, which means it is anytime we get this far down, this fast, you usually, this feels to me like a almost like a crash. Almost, like TLT's gone from 110 to 102 in like 6 trading days, and it feels almost like a panicky kind of crash scenario here. So this is going to be a great opportunity. We're going to be looking at that at TLT, positioning to get long bonds here. And again, we could be totally wrong, obviously, but in any event, something to look at. You guys are interested in that. On the actual futures contract, it's really tough to trade the bonds right now. The only 2 contracts I look at for my members because of the volatility, because of the risk involved, is the 2-year and the 5-year. And I just mentioned there is a possible really nice setup on the 2-year that I'll be going over with my members next week. Okay. All right. So that's that. And really at the end of the day, everybody, is this is the one thing that would derail my thought about the market. But here's the thing. You could have said that last week coming in and watching the bonds just get crushed and say, well, the market's going to go down. The fact that the market held in there, again, just I don't want to be too repetitive, but think about it. The fact that the market hung in there despite interest rates still going higher says something. You got to pay attention. So you get the idea. Now, here's another exciting thing that I'm looking for next week. We've got a bunch of central banks next week. So to answer your question, who asked me about JPY? Yeah, we're still looking at that, Ryan. But here's the deal: look at the dollar, and I've been talking to you guys about this. I believe also, this is all kind of culminating, right? Rates peaking. The dollar, I believe, is probably peaked as well. And the reason I say that is, again, same premise. Rates have made clearly on the 10-year, the 30-year new cycle low. What would you expect the dollar to have done as rates continue going higher? So I'll ask you as a question, and I'm going to wait here for a couple of minutes for you guys to answer, because I want to throw this out at you. What would you expect the dollar to have done when the 10-year and the 30-year just got crushed and made new cycle highs? Right? Where is the dollar sitting right now? Look at your charts of the DXY. It didn't even get close to the old highs, correct? And in fact, look at that huge reversal today in the dollar index. Yep. So again, no opinion, no bias. What is that suggesting to you? Here's my point. So we got next week, we got ECB, we got Canada, we got Bank of Japan. Huge, all these big money center banks. You know what's going on in the UK? We all that whole, they're in shambles over there, right? But so here's the deal. What I'm excited about is this. If my premise is correct, can we have some massive opportunities to go long in some of these currencies? And I've been talking about gold, right? So that's really what to look at next week, right? So I'm looking at a bunch of stuff. Gold, we were trying to get long and it didn't come down far enough. Remember, I've been talking about it did have a nice reversal today. We may have to get more aggressive. I'm not going to chase it, but on we're looking for gold down around 1600. We got down to 16. We actually just held that pivot from back in September, if you remember, before we had that really nice pop in gold. But now also look at the chart of gold. That looks pretty darn good too, right? For another, maybe we'll buy a pullback on a smaller time frame as well. So, and this is all setting up relative to the dollar peaking, correct? So everything is lining up really nicely. Just a matter of execution and process. Really, that's really what it comes. So if you don't have a process or you don't know what to do, come visit me for 5 days or sign up for my new promo, and you'll get some education. Okay. All right. Or else keep losing money, like a lot of people do in this market. Just kidding. I'm not saying everybody's losing. A lot of people, right? Right, Ryan? Oh man, it's really interesting because I've had a lot of conversations lately, right, with people. Anyways, moving right along. It's Friday, guys. A little punchy today, right? And by the way, it looks like we're gonna make it. Keep my fingers crossed. Looks like we're gonna make it to a half hour without my internet crashing. So it's a good day. It's a good day overall, right? Oh man. You remember the last couple times I've had it just like freeze up and whatever. So looks like we got that fixed. Thank goodness. Right? All right. So moving right along. Nat gas. I mentioned that we got long nat gas, UNG. And I did mention, if you want to look at your chart, everybody, and you guys know I'm not shy about, and I think actually Ryan took that trade. So we got long at on the UNG 1748. Okay, a few hundred shares. Okay. Now, why did I use UNG rather than the futures contract? Well, if you've been trying to trade nat gas futures, crazy, right? It's like every level you look at is like $400, $600, $800 wide. And by the way, this is the longer term. It's come round trip. If you look at your chart of nat gas, look again. Now notice I'm focusing on these weekly and monthly time frames. Anytime you get these massive moves, like with bonds and the UNG and so on and so forth, if you look at your weekly chart if you look at your weekly chart or even your daily chart of nat gas, notice how we've round trip from 5 up to 9, from 6, 5.5 up to 10.5. We're round trip, and this is the origin of that first explosive move to the upside. So if you want some rationale, that's why. And I want to take UNG because I can manage risk very comfortably with a few hundred shares, and I expect UNG to go back up to in the mid 20s to 30 if you look at the chart, right? If for whatever reason nat gas rallies back up into the 9s or 10s, that UNG is going to go back up to 20, probably in the low 30s, right? If you look at your chart. So that's the kind of the premise behind that. Does that make sense? I don't chase it, right? Chasing doesn't. So I wouldn't be chasing anything. Okay, and then on the grains, we were trying to get long wheat. That was another market. Actually, some of my members did get long wheat right around that 8. Again, I think I mentioned this level the other day. Look at your 8-hour chart on wheat. You can see there's a nice level off a pivot right around that 830 level. I think I mentioned this briefly the other day. That's doing well. And again, if you guys don't trade the grains, I encourage you to start looking at those. Nothing really else on soybeans, corn, or I've just been focused on wheat simply because wheat has the most volatility, and we have a mini contract. We have a mini contract for or 1,000 bushel contract for wheat. Ryan, on what? Are you a member, by the way? I don't. Yeah, I do have a target. Yep. Yep. It's in the mid. It's in the mid to high 20s. How's that? I'm just kidding. Yep. All right. Did you get long? By the way, did you buy UNG? Or you're going to look at it? Yeah, if it goes too far higher, don't chase it. I mean, I don't know. You can, I guess. Yep. All right. Yeah. Hopefully you get a chance to go back in again. But if it gaps up next week or whatever, you see it above, like 18 or something, I wouldn't chase it. Okay. Oh, good. So we're in alignment there. Okay, last thing, and then we're going to get out of here. VIX. Remember, I've been talking about VIX 35, massive put call ratio. Puts. I'm going to be interesting. I did a class for my members. I haven't had a chance to look at this week. Weekends. Yeah, right, Callow. Jeez. I spent hours this week fixing all the stuff, right? Literally, right? I got the super duper, the top tier internet. Like it's like 1 terabyte, whatever. It's like I upgraded to the top tier, internet. I cleared out my cache on the computer. Blah, 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 blah. You don't need to have all the details, but it looks like, keep our fingers crossed. It looks like all that worked. Okay. All right. So back to the VIX. The VIX still elevated, and we did hit 35. Remember, I keep talking about when it hits 35, that's when, the markets generally bottom out. And sure enough, right? I don't know if you guys have been watching the VIX. Put the VIX on your radar. So to sum things up, everybody, we got 2 minutes left here to go. I think we're going to have an awesome week next week. Just to recap, we've got the big 4 horsemen, whatever you want to call it: Google, Amazon. They used to call them what do they used to call those? The 4 horsemen, right? Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Apple all report Tuesday and Thursday. We've got huge FANG. Thank you. Yep. We've got, the Netflix is not any, Netflix is no longer part of that. Netflix just got smoked, right? So we've got that. We've got inflation numbers. Yeah, that also got smoked, right? Lots of central bank activity, right? So next week should be great. I'm really actually excited. I've got a bunch of trades setting up for next week. And so, that's it's going to be great next week. I'll keep you guys posted on what we're doing here. Again, one last thing, if you want to take the newsletter, spend 5 days with me, or I got that promo going, check it out. It's basically, it's $99, everybody. I think everybody can afford that, right? So that's that. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. Okay. And if you have any questions, whatever, again, hit my support staff and we'll get you hooked up. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Talk to you on Tuesday.